Vivek Ramaswamy was, and he joins us now. So, Mr. Ramaswamy, thank you. You were at this. You really took a lot of. You were at the center of a lot of these confrontations tonight.
It was fun,
and you got the. Good. I'm glad you seemed very sporting about it. You got the second most time of any of the candidate. But was it at the end of the day, or how was it? Let me ask you, because I know what your answer is. How was it? Do you think
it was
a success? A success.
I think it was an unambiguous success for us, and it exceeded my expectations. Because the truth of the matter is, every candidate on that stage had been in many political debates before. This was my first, and so to come out as, I think, the clear winner of the night, I think is an honor for me. But we're just getting started with the campaign, and it was a great opportunity to actually offer a vision. A lot of the other candidates on the stage were focused on Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden's a disastrous president, but I think we have to offer an affirmative vision of our own, an actual alternative, running to something. And I think I was the only candidate in this race that's been doing that so far. I'm the only candidate who did that on the stage tonight. And my sense is it landed very well and propels us to the next phase of this campaign. I think pretty soon this is going to be down to a two-horse race between Trump and myself. And I think this was a big step in helping us get there.
Well, if Trump does focus his fire on you, you know how good he is, as Ron DeSantis can attest, and many other candidates from 2016, how good he is at that. But I want to ask, Nikki Haley did step forward and question part of your vision on foreign policy. She said, quote, "You have no foreign policy experience," and therefore she thought that your positions on Ukraine and support for Israel were wrong for the country. How do you answer voters who will say he's 38 years old, he doesn't really know much about the world in terms of geostrategy, in terms of the America's role in the world, and they aren't sure whether you can be commander-in-chief?
So look, I think voters do face a choice. If somebody has repeatedly crashed your car, do you want to turn over the keys to the same people who crashed it? I would not. The same people who got us into the Iraq War, the same people who have consistently lied about weapons of mass destruction, that have lied about not only bank bailouts domestically, but about a Russia collusion hoax, about going now to lying about how much money is actually being spent and how in Ukraine. The non-transparency there, I think, is history repeating itself. And my view is it will just take an outsider who has a strategic vision for our foreign policy. I'm the only person who has offered a clear plan of how to end the Ukraine war on terms that advance U.S. interests. I'm the only person who has offered a clear plan of how to actually deter China from going after Taiwan while avoiding war over it. And I think that is not in spite of my being an outsider, but because of my being an outsider, where you have a lot of people, good people. These are good people on stage, but good people who are trapped in the slogans they memorized back in 1990, when in fact we have to realize the USSR no longer exists. The real threat is communist China. We depend on China today in a way that we never did on the USSR. That raises new foreign policy challenges where the old methods don't work. And I'm really the only guy who actually has a personal, deep understanding of that and can drive as commander-in-chief with an actual strategy rather than a rear-view mirror driving approach.
You know, and speaking of slogans from the 1990s, you called climate change a hoax where, at this point, the science, the vast majority of people who study this believe that climate change is happening. The measurements are conclusive, and they believe that the evidence shows that human activity has a significant contributing factor. So, but you don't think that? You don't think that any of the carbon that the people have put into the atmosphere? You said it's a hoax.
I said the climate change agenda. I said the climate change agenda is a hoax. And I stand by that with conviction. And look, climate science wasn't my background, but I do have background in molecular biology from Harvard. I am tied to the facts. I believe in science. Okay.
All right, so you do believe, I just want to get you on the record, you do agree that the climate is changing as the vast majority of climate scientists
as long as the climate has existed,
because of human activity. Because of human activity. Do you agree with that, or is that a hoax?
The climate has always changed because of human activity as long as human beings have lived on the earth. So it's a meaningless statement. The reality is climate, so climate-related disaster deaths down at 98% over the last century. A lot of people don't know that fact. That's an undisputed fact. Why? Because of more abundant and plentiful access to fossil fuels. 8 times as many people die of cold temperatures as warm ones. What we feared in the 1970s was a supposed ice age if we didn't stop using fossil fuels. Now it's global warming. And so I don't think the climate agenda is really about the climate. I think it's about global equity. It's about letting China catch up to the United States. That's what this farce is about. And it shocks me that the other Republicans on that stage are really just going along with the party line without independently looking at the actual facts and data for themselves. You know, and I follow from Alex Epstein to Bjorn Lomborg to even Steve Koonin, who is a physicist, served in President Obama's energy department. I've read all their books cover to cover. And so this is something where I'm grounded in the facts. I don't just buy the talking points that come through the filtered knowledge synthesis ecosystem in the media. I go to the hard facts, and I will speak with conviction when I say the climate change agenda is a hoax.
Right. Well, Bjorn Lomborg, I've read him too. He acknowledges that human activity has contributed to the warming of the atmosphere. Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.